Hi, I'm Lena, freelance journalist. And when the war started, 2 weeks in, I conducted interviews with young Ukrainians. One of them is Iolanta. She tells us about her life in Lviv and Kiev and how she copes with the situation. Hi, Iolanta.
Hi.
It's so nice to see you again.
Me too.
So tell me, you are in Lviv or Kiev right now? Where do you stay?
Now I'm in Lviv. I'm back from Kiev for like couple of weeks, and now I planning to go back to Kiev to live there.
How come? Where is your family, and why do you live between two cities?
Now we are all in Lviv because we took a new pet. We took a cat to live with us, and we didn't want to move it to Kiev, so we stayed with her for a couple of months in Lviv, and now we're ready to go back to Kiev.
Okay, so all because of a cat.
Yes, that's it. We just love the animals.
And how do you go from Lviv to Kiev? What kind of transport do you use?
Our railways are working just perfect for all over Ukraine. So there are, I don't know, like 10 or 15 trains that can take me to Kiev from Lviv. So it's not that big of deal to go from Lviv to Kiev.
Interesting. So it sounds like at least the transportation keeps running. What would you say is not like it used to be? Of course, like the alarms going off. I heard a lot about that, being in shelters. How would you describe your everyday life now compared to when we spoke last time, 2 weeks in the war?
The biggest difference is air raid sirens. It's like our everyday deal that we haven't got before. But we trying to deal with it, and we're trying to live with it. When we know that we are in dangers, but we need to live, you know that the missile or the rocket could go to your city and destroy something, and you must deal with it. It's hard to realize that your city could be destroyed every day, but we used with it, because if we don't, we can live and we can build our life. So we need to live, and we need to get our lives better and better. So if we all would be in depression, we gonna just stay stronger. And there no big difference for me, because I was in the west of Ukraine, and there are no such destruction for us like for eastern parts. So I'm thankful for that, really thankful.
Okay, so how would you say the atmosphere changes when you come from Lviv to Kiev? How is life in Kiev?
It's much calmer. There are much more men than women in the city, and you feel it. I don't know how to describe it. When you realize that a couple of billions of people came to Europe from Ukraine, and you know that the half of your friends is not here, you realize how small amount of people just stayed in Ukraine. And it feels in Kiev much more than in Lviv.
Where are most of your friends? Are they now abroad?
Um, in Germany, like 3 or 4 of them. We have a big company of 18 people in that from school, and only 3 people, including me, are in Ukraine now. All of them came to Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Like we are all international friends now. That's terrifying for me, but what can I do?
And when you speak with them on the phone or you text with them, are they asking you lots of questions about how it is in Ukraine? Or what do you speak about?
We're talking on a daily basis like friends, and we always send some news for each other to know something or to laugh on how stupid Russia is. Yeah, so we're speaking like a friends, just on a distance.
Mm-hmm.
I went for a trip to my friend to Brussels in May, and we saw, yeah, I was in Brussels for like a week and a half, and it was a really great trip for me, for my mental health. I saw 2 of my friends. One just lived in Brussels, and one came from Germany to me, and it was really great to see my friends again, to feel that they are now with me.
That's for me incredible to hear that you also just like travel from Ukraine. I mean,
It's
to another country and back. So that's possible just to enter.
Yeah, it's not that hard really. I have my passport with me, so I can sit on a bus, came to Poland, to Warsaw, how I did, sit on a plane and fly to Brussels.
Mm-hmm.
It all depends if you have money, time on that. If you're not, you would not come to abroad. So I had that opportunity, so I took a ticket for a bus, came to Warsaw, seen one of my friends, and then fly to Brussels for a week.
Mm-hmm.
It was a little trip for me, yeah.
Mm-hmm. You said it was very helpful for your mental health. How would you describe your mental health now at the moment? How are you?
It's a lot better. It's much better than it was in the first months of war, because I was on my phone for daily basis, and like for 13 to 15 hours I spent on my phone checking some news. Now I don't do that. It's just bad for me. I can do that for like every day for so long time. It's half of the year already, after the war started, and we just can't be that concentrated on war, because it's very depressing. It's really depressing to see how many people die every day, how Russia strikes missiles to our city, to our peaceful cities. Today's accident in Kharkiv, that's the city on the east of Ukraine, they came to some campuses of Kharkiv city, and more than 10 people are dead and 20 or 30 are injured. That's a huge catastrophe for us, and that's on daily basis, and we just can't remove it all from our lives.
No.
So it's easier to read all that than it was before, because you know that it will be. But it's also hard.
Was it a conscious choice of you and your family to stay in Ukraine and not to leave the country?
Yeah. We thought about it for like a couple of weeks on the start when we was on the west of Ukraine in Lviv region, but my parents, my dad could not leave the Ukraine because he's a man. My mom doesn't want to leave Ukraine, and she said, you can leave or you can stay. And I decided to stay here. So I'm in Ukraine with my parents.
Mhm.
It's a hard decision, but I made it and I'm okay with that.
Mhm. And when you were in Brussels, seeing your friends there, was it like, or how would you describe it, like the lives of your friends now and your life? How can you, I'm just like thinking, you have this reality, you stayed in the country, whereas your friends now try, I guess, to adapt to a new life. So how is it for you and your friends to have these parallel worlds now?
Yeah, of course, they're trying to learn some new languages, trying to build their lives there. They're studying in the universities there. So, and we had the different routine, of course. Most of them don't know what is air sirens is because there wasn't in the first week of the war, and they just went in the first weeks. They're disturbed by the situation, of course, and they inform people around them about what is war, what is good, what is bad. But we have a really different lives, and it feels, of course, and we can't do anything about that. It's just like that. It was really terrifying for me to saw the first plane in Warsaw because the sound which plane does is really scary for us now, and the sirens of ambulance or something like that is also scary because for me it's something that went after the rocket. And you heard explosions, there are always sirens after that. It was terrifying to be, you know, that you're not in a danger, but you just feel in a danger always. I don't know, it's not that hard for me. I don't even realize how it's hard for people from East or from the West. It's like a really different situation for us, but it's terrifying for all of us.
So you're a student at the Institute of Journalism of the Taras Shevchenko University. Do you continue studying? Did you have exams? How did university?
I ended my second year in June, and we're starting studying in September for my third year in university. So it is how it was. We are on a distant online education now.
And when you have class, for example, is it possible to not mention the war? Are there times where the war is not at stake during the conversations?
It's possible, but it's really hard to do that. You just need to say, we don't talk about war and we don't talk about war, because we always have what to say to each other about that, what we heard, what we read. It's just all around us. So yeah, it's possible. We live our lives, but it's really hard.
How's the situation for your parents? Are they still able to work? Is your dad in the army or not?
My dad was in territorial defenses for first months of the war, and he is volunteer, but he left territorial defenses because he has his job, and he's works so much. So now he's only volunteering and doing his job. My mom also have a job, but it's really hard to her to do her job because she's the agent that took people on the trips.
Oh, okay. So she works in tourism.
Yeah, so they both have their jobs, and they work on daily basis, and it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard for me to find job, but that's the other questions, of course, because there are so many volunteers on the start of the war, and there were no places to work.
Do you want to support the army, or what was your idea?
Oh, I did volunteer job with my dad. I tried to do some texts about the war, but as I said, there are not that much job to do. Mm-hmm. So many people want to help. That not that many, but in the start of the war, it was, I don't know, a huge amount of people.
Mm-hmm. You studied journalism, so you're an aspiring journalist. Do you now see even more the importance of journalism in times of war?
Of course, the impact of journalism is huge because all the news we got from journalists. So it's like our everyday life to check the news. There are no people who doesn't read the news. That can be like that. So what journalist is writing is how people see the situation, and it's really important to give the right side of the situation. Because it's how people would see it. That's how the Russian propaganda is working, how people do not know anything about the war in Ukraine because they're just brainwashed them. Mm-hmm. It's hard to believe, but that's true, and I still don't understand how it works, but they did that to them for years, and they're really brainwashed. So most of my friends, I'm just lucky I don't have any relatives in Russia, but most of my friends just lost their connection with their family or with their friends because they don't believe, they don't get how hard it is.
Can you talk more about that? So what does it mean to lose the connection? They consciously stopped being in touch with them, or what do you know more?
It depends on the situation, on the person. Some of them threatened our people, said that we deserved that. And what Putin do, or the Russian army, what they do, that's right. And we just don't understand. We need to stop being so Nazis or fascist. I don't know what they think about us. They can choose Nazis or fascist we are. Some of them just stopped any communications with their family. Some of them trying to support, but I don't know how to talk about with them about that. Mm-hmm. Just we can see how they live peacefully after they started the war. It just we don't find that. We don't know why is that right way for them.
Mm-hmm. So Iolanta, we met 9 months ago, I think approximately. Then we had the interview when the war started, and at times we were in touch via WhatsApp, for example. But of course, I wasn't able to follow everything you did and you felt. So if you look back at the last 5 months, maybe, what kind of experiences are the ones you will not be able to forget?
First of all of Ukrainians were clueless about what war really is. Maybe the west part of Ukraine knew what is that, but we didn't really know. When the war started, I was in 5th or 6th grade in the school. I was a child, and I didn't realize what is it.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like a huge difference. We grow to be stronger. We grow to build our strong mental health. We learn how to work, how trying to be in that situation, how to be people in war, how to live, and how to live better after that. Because when the war will end, and we all hope that it will be so soon, we need to build our country and build it better and stronger than it ever was or will be.
And if you now think of one specific experience in the last month, is there something that is reoccurring that you think about often?
I think about people. I haven't thought of people that much. You don't know that people. You will never meet them, or you never met them before, but you are with them with your heart and soul, and you're trying to help and trying to do your best to help them. If we won't help each other, then who will do?
Thank you so much for this interview. Very good to see you, and I hope we can stay in touch.
Yes, thank you.